Okay, folks, Mike Messier, first time seeing theatrically Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I thought this movie came out something like this, 2000, 2001. It turns out it's 2001. Now we're in 2024. It's a re-release. Most of the people seeing this re-release at Cinemark theaters today look like families, you know, a parent with a kid or two, some grown adults, as you might call them. And here I am, you know, sitting in the upper left corner, never having experienced Harry Potter in the theater. Of all the, I believe, 8 films, I have seen 1 in the theater. That's a funny story. That was part 7, part 1. So I'm considering this experience. If you don't know, I'm going to go see all 8 Harry Potter movies back to back to back to back to back to back to back, because I just am. I feel like I've missed out on all these memes, all these references. I'm remembering a Saturday Night Live skit that was funny, I think with, Lindsay Lohan, was like the kids come back to school or whatever after summer break, and Lindsay Lohan was playing the female. So here we are. I'm watching this movie. What do I think? Well, first of all, I did enjoy it. You know, I mean, I really was kind of a blank slate going into this thing. I'm assuming that most of you fine folks have seen these movies. I guess for the 1 or 2 of you who haven't, and you're wondering, well, this asshole hasn't seen the movies either. Should I go see them? I think so. I mean, I think the theatrical experience is always the best. Unfortunately, as far as I know, these movies are only being released one screening per day for the 8 days, like the 8 days of Christmas, the 8 days of Harry. And I guess they're gearing up for some type of new 2025 Harry Potter movie of some sort. So, that being said, well, first of all, I wasn't expecting the beginning where it kind of, I don't know if that was supposed to be modern times, I guess the year 2001, because it seemed like modern vehicles in the driveways of these cars. But then it kind of felt like we were time jumping a tad with the adopted family. So, I mean, there's some themes here, at least, that I thought they were themes of, like, you know, Oliver Twist type of shit. It's not exactly the Brady Bunch for adopted families. It feels like Harry's adopted by his aunt and her husband, who are real bastards to him, and they treat him like crap. And, of course, kind of a thing, you know, like the spoiled child. Of course, he's overweight, you know what I mean? So he ends up with a pig's tail and so forth, and he's a real asshole to Harry. And Harry looks like he's wearing his cousin's hand-me-down clothes, because I don't think they said that, but that's what I picked up on. Like, Harry's wearing all these clothes that are kind of bulky and big for him, and I'm assuming that's because he's wearing his older cousin's hand-me-downs, because they don't love him, is the point, because he's not their kid. And we discover that they knew all along that he's a little witch, a little wizard, so they hate him. So, I mean, it kind of look, all movies are going to play into something. Either they're going to play into a cliche or a stereotype, or the reverse of a stereotype, right? So you can't really win. But it did feel like this is the Cinderella, this is the, you know, adopted kid is not loved like the natural born child routine. I mean, we've seen that in so many things. Interesting, they had a preview for Mustafa, Lion King movie, which I'm sure will be a big hit this Christmas season. By the way, the movie started, 3:15 was the announced time. I didn't know if they were going to have previews for current movies or not. So I was actually at the theater right at like 3:16, which is early for me. Then they still had like 20 minutes of previews and shenanigans. The theater was pretty full of people. Luckily for me, I had a couple of empty seats next to me. The gentleman in front of me did like one of those deals where he had a baseball hat and he had his fucking sunglasses on top of his hat. So at times his goddamn sunglasses were kind of in my periphery. I almost gave him a shoulder tap and said, "Hey, pal, would you mind putting your goddamn sunglasses, considering we're inside, would you mind putting them on your chair so I don't have to see like this weird set of glass eyes looking at the screen?" But I was kind. I did not talk to this asshole. I just let him do his thing and I did mine. So I'm watching this movie. What's his fuck? The guy with the beard, the big jolly fellow. I got a little sick of his routine of, oh, I shouldn't have told you that. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that. That seemed like a handy excuse. Like, oh, here's a plot hole. Well, we'll just have the fat guy with the beards tell you what's going on. And then he say, oh, I shouldn't have told you that. I mean, there's some crutches here, folks. We have to admit. As much as this story is epic and awesome and all this horse shit, let's point out the flaws. I mean, it did seem like a handy excuse. Every time that these three little children need to know some information about something, the bumblefuck, the big boy, the haggard or whatever the fuck, he just has to say the secret, and then he covers his ass with, I shouldn't have told you that. I mean, I think I'm just going to do that in my life now. Like, whenever I want some asshole to know something about someone, I'm just going to tell them, and then I'm going to say, I shouldn't have told you that. Zoinks. I mean, what the fuck? What else? There was a lot of these. I mean, I really liked the movie at first, and then there was some patterns that I saw that I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to see in the remainder of these films, which, God, I've locked into this shit. So now it's like, there's going to be some situation. So first, the characters have to talk about the situation that's coming up, which is usually some type of little skirmish or fight or quest, or find the stone, or find the book about the stone, or find the dead person, or whatever the fuck. So first you have to talk about this oncoming conflict. Then we proceed to have the conflict. Then the conflict is resolved, and then we go and talk about the conflict we just had. Now, that started to happen a lot in this movie. Like, first we talk about the quest game or the court game or whatever the fucking lacrosse game was. First we talk about it. Then we do it. Then we have another scene where we talk about what just happened. Then we talk about something that's going to happen next. Then that happens. Then we talk about that. So that's how you fill up a 2-hour and 45-minute movie or whatever this experience was, because it's just talk, action, reflect, repeat. So I'm just getting prepared because I feel like I'm in for the long road with this thing. There's already situations where people were asking me if I was available Monday night for activities, and I had to explain to them this whole situation. I'm going to Harry Potter myself. I'm going to get pottered. I'm going to Harry myself. It's kind of fun though, because look, this is 23 years later. We know that some of these actors have gone on to things, you know. I was the whole time, I'm like, what's this guy's name? What's Harry's real name, the actor? I know, I'm like, he played fucking Batman a couple of summers ago. Who is this guy? What's his name? And then I'm thinking of like other actors. Like, it's not Toby fucking Maguire. It's not whoever the fuck. And then it's like, here's the girl. And like, I know that it's not Lindsay Lohan. That was just the parody on SNL. But is this, who's the Twilight lady that I like? Kirsten, whatever the fuck. It's not her. It's not whoever the fuck. Is this Hayden Panettiere? Like, who is Hayden Panettiere? Is that a man or a woman? I don't even know anymore. So it's just like, who are these people? And then at the end it says Emma Watson. Oh, okay. And then I'm watching it. It's Alan Rickman, Snape. Not Snake, but Snape. Okay. So watching Snape, and I'm like, that's the asshole from fucking Die Hard. But like, Die Hard was in the 80s, and he looks younger here than he did in Die Hard because of the beard. You know what I mean? Because in the fucking Die Hard, he's wearing the beard the whole time. In this, he's clean shaven. He actually looks the same age or even younger in this. And if you do the math, when did Die Hard come out? 87, 88? Let's say 87. So that's 14 years. Rickman looks pretty good. So whatever the fuck. Now, here's another plot hole that's as big as the state of Texas. The man the guy whose name we do not say, except we always fucking say it. Do I say it? Do I dare? What the fuck is it? Vladimir? Vladimir? Whatever the fuck? Valdemar? So we don't say his name. God forbid you say his fucking name. But Harry's saying his name. Like, Harry's dropping his name 30 or 40 fucking times. And Haggard, his jolly green giant friend, is saying the fucking name a bunch of times. So why are you assholes getting to say the name? This sacred fucking name that releases all the evil upon the world that no one can say. Except these assholes say the name. Like, Harry can say his fucking name, but God forbid the rest of us don't. Oh, we don't say his name. Except everybody fucking does, or at least Harry does. I mean, there should be some type of infraction. If you say his name, you get like a little electrical shock, you know, that hurts you or something. Like, there should be some repercussions for saying his fucking name. We don't say his name, except when we do. Okay, thanks, assholes. What else? Okay, I'm going to go on a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a thing here, because watching this film, I couldn't recall what year it came out. I don't know. God, a bus. When was the last time you took a bus, folks? You can leave it in the comments. Tell me your bus stories. I'm sure they'll be exciting. So, the restroom scene. There's a scene where the young girl character, I don't know her name, she goes to the girls' room, and I'm not sure what the fuck happened, but suddenly the Jolly Green Giant himself is in this fucking thing, like some type of Ewok or troll or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like 20 feet tall. He's trying to kill the poor girl. And then Harry and Ron, such an interesting choice. Like, that's such an interesting choice for a sidekick name, or for just a character name in a movie. Just Ron. No, it's fucking Ron. Okay, hi, Ron. What a name for like a sidekick. Ron. Hey, Ron showed up. Hey, Ron. What the fuck? So Harry, Ron the redhead. They don't even call him redheaded Ron. There was also a lot of redheads in this movie. Like, when Ron got on the station 9 3/4, there's like 2 other assholes with red hair. They're like twins. Like, how many fucking redheads are in this community? You know what I mean? It's just like, you're lucky if you have 1 redhead in a fucking movie. Here we have like 12. Of course, if you watch my film, Disregard the Vampire, a Mike Messier documentary, I would tell you to watch it on this channel or on One Man in the Camera Films, but apparently YouTube has killed my channel with my films, so I guess you can go to Vimeo or MikeMessier.com or Google fuck it and find Disregard the Vampire, Mike Messier documentary featuring 2 redheaded actresses of note. So anyway, going back to Ron and his journey. Now, this movie, 2001, I think this issue is more like a 2015, 2016 North Carolina issue. The whole thing of, dare I say, and because J.K. Rowling is behind this story, the transgender folks using the women's restroom, was this some type of commentary on that? Because of, as we know, the political leanings of J.K. Rowling on this topic. However, I would gotta say probably not, because this was 2001, and that was not really a big topic in that year of the transgender folks in North Carolina being banned from the restroom, from the women's room. So it was just kind of an interesting thing, because I know all this information, and I'm watching this movie with enlightened 2024 eyes, so I'm just referencing things that probably are not in the actual movie, but because of all the scenarios and so forth. I did say this, I mean, J.K. Rowling, for all her discussions and all her controversies, didn't stop the people from seeing the movie today. You know what I mean? And that's what I've noticed. Like, people people who have their political opinions or their hashtags or their tweets, it doesn't seem to stop them from seeing the goddamn movie, now does it? You know what I mean? Like, they'll bitch about it, they'll tweet about it, they'll hashtag whatever the fuck. It kind of reminds me, I used to go to this acting camp, filmmaking camp, horse shit thing in Maine, and when I would go, and I was coming in from Rhode Island with a vehicle, all these New York City asshole actors would come in. Some of them were fine, most of them were pricks, and they all had all these goddamn convictions about, I need to buy my special nasal spray. Can you help me find a drugstore? Because none of these New York assholes, as successful as they fucking are, none of them had a goddamn vehicle to their name, because they all just take the subway. Ugh. So they come into fucking Maine without a goddamn vehicle. They're depending on everybody else. They never happen to give up any goddamn gas money, by the way. So this one particular prick who happened to have red hair, a guy probably 35 years old, he needed some type of thing. So he's asking me for a goddamn ride, and me being nice and generous and kind-hearted, I'm like, sure, asshole, I'll give you a ride. So we're going from, you know, of course he doesn't want to go to the corporate monster of Walmart. He wants to find every Tom, Dick, and Harry Maine locally owned store to find his personal breath spray or whatever the fuck he needed, his fungus cream, whatever the fuck he needed. None of these local asshole places have the exact item that he needs. But I'm like, well, we could just go to the Walmart. He's like, oh, I don't go to Walmart. I don't support Walmart. Okay, asshole. But then when we go to 2 or 3 shops and he can't find his fucking diaper rash spray, then suddenly he's like, oh, well, let's just go to Walmart. So, okay, asshole, you wanted to, you know, fight the man or save the whales or whatever the fuck you wanted to do by not going to Walmart initially to get this fucking item that probably has 3 shelves worth of this shit, whatever it is. But you just wasted my goddamn gasoline driving from Tom's Dick and Harry shop to Harry's Dick and Tom shop to Tom's Harry and Dick shop all day because you insisted on not going to Walmart until you discovered you couldn't find your goddamn precious little New York City asshole item anywhere else. That's when we went to fucking Walmart, right, you fucking prick? So my point is, these people have their goddamn morals and they have their convictions and they have their hashtags until they really fucking need something. You know what I mean? So if you need your goddamn diaper spray or you need your goddamn Harry Potter fix, then you go to the multiplex, then you go to the Walmart. But until that time, you just hashtag and you just sit there with your goddamn holier-than-thou bullshit ethics. And normal people like me that have a sense of humor about the whole parade of idiocracy just sit here and chuckle at your self-righteous, condescending asshole ass, okay? So anyway, there's people in the parking lot now. Everyone has to come. God. People take their time, you know. So this lady's like, you know, one woman gets into the driver's side of the car and she's unlocking the door for her friend, and her friend could have gotten in the car, but she has to check her fucking phone for 2 minutes before she gets in the car. Okay, Miss Daisy, whatever the fuck. So that's it, folks. So I will be returning to see more Harry Potter. I'm trying to think if I had any other concerns or critiques. I mean, it is kind of like the adopted kid's fantasy. Like, my adopted parents were cruel and vicious, and they didn't treat me like they treated their own son. But one day I will go home to see my real family and horse shit. However, I will say this, in this particular film, at the end, I guess all the kids go home for the fucking whatever the fuck. Like, they all go home for winter break or whatever the fuck it is. And, like, Harry's like the Hogwarts guy is sending Harry, which their names are too common, by the way. Like, Hoggart and Harry, they're both H names. He's sending them back, and he's saying, like, if your cousin gives you any shit, give him a fucking snout to match his pigtail that I gave him. And it's like, whoa, that's pretty harsh, bro. Like, God, you've already given the guy a fucking tail for the rest of his life. Now you're going to give him a snout or pig ears or whatever the fuck. But it's like, why is Harry going back to this house at all? I mean, these people are probably going to try and kill him when he gets back home. I didn't quite get that. Like, shouldn't Hogwarts be like, just you go and you never return? Like, why are these kids getting sent back to their 9-to-5 asshole homes with their abusive uncles and aunts? At least in Harry's case, I didn't quite understand that. So we're supposed to think now that Hogwarts, for all its majesty, is a part-time school of education. I mean, I just thought it was like, you're in the army now, kids. Like, you go to fucking Hogwarts and you're done. Like, that's your life. Like, why would you go back to a civilian life? Like, would you have fucking Superman go to Earth and fight Lex Luthor, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go back to Krypton land or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, no, you stay where you're positioned. You know what I mean? Like, if you are assigned to Earth, you stay in Earth. Anyway, fine folks, MikeMessier.com, etc. You can go to the Foreign Object eBay store. You can buy my wonderful art. I'm going to sit here and drink a glass of water. It's probably boiling hot because it's been in this vehicle.